Hey team, a very good morning. EURUSD has been pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down, pushing up, pushing down. It is ultimately just moving a little bit inconsistent with not the cleanest of price action. But let's stick to the higher time frame narrative and see where we could potentially be heading next. Now, as of this morning, EURUSD has been pushing in towards the downside along with pretty much all of the other euro pairs as well. EURUSD in itself remains bullish here on the daily time frame, meaning that this here is your swing low, this here is your swing high, after taking out the final liquidity low, which was situated over here. Now, in most examples, you would expect the market now to continue pushing up higher as the overall swing structure is bullish and we've taken out major liquidity. However, to validate that this liquidity low is actually strong, you would have wanted to see, for example, the 4-hour, at least with the low that was established, so this low here, break this high, for example, because this high now is a, let's say, lower high within this overall impulsive phase that we had over here. But as we can see, this low even failed to break this high over here. So it's very risky to expect that we're now going to be putting in a new high. But at the same time, it's very risky to look for a short because there is still liquidity situated open over here. And also we have a lot of descending highs here, which are not very, very strong. As we can see, these are all descending highs and there is not really any liquidity that could have been taken or has been taken to fuel the next leg in towards the downside, in my opinion. So for now, EURUSD is a little bit in a no man's land. I'm waiting for either us to push in towards the downside, form a new low, form a new impulsive phase with clear liquidity, or for us from here to push up higher, take out that X, take out that liquidity, and then from there we can potentially look for some new short positions once again, because the overall impulsive phase still remains the same. Impulse from the high towards the low. We had a clear break of structure here in towards the downside, and we have a clear liquidity high in the form of this blue dotted line over here. So ultimately what you want to be looking for is, again, shorts, because the overall immediate downtrend still remains intact. However, in order to facilitate the next downside move, what do you need to see preferably? Well, we need to see the internal high here get liquidated. So that's still preferable, and still waiting for that to happen. Now, looking at EURUSD in the medium to short term, I do still see some further upside, and this is then more based on the fundamentals. The fundamentals still lean towards a rate cut now in December. I wrote a very extensive market update on that inside the Discord server, so make sure to join and check it out in #Fabio's updates. Now, we can see that we formed a nice area of demand, which was formed on the basis of liquidating this low here, and after that, we saw a strong impulse in towards the highs. Now, once again here, we liquidate a low, and we've now seen a sell down before a buy up, which is now, for me, the valid area of demand. Currently, we've retraced into the 0.5 fib of this little leg, and I'm now looking to see, hey, can EURUSD here form somewhat of a demand zone on the 1-hour time frame within that sell before the buy, with a little liquidity low right over here. So let's see, can EURUSD now see a V-shape reversal this morning, break this fractal high? Then I would expect us to head up higher in the short term towards that blue dotted line. So favoring some short-term EURUSD upside if we get that bullish confirmation. So I will be keeping my eyes open on the 1-hour fractal break of this high over here. So yeah, let's monitor that. That for now is the more viable option. I'm not ready to take any shorts here just because of the fact that these are all weak highs. At the same time, taking longs is risky due to this being a weak low, as it couldn't even break this high over here. That's what I mean with that. EURUSD is just not in the best place at the moment. But longs do hold my preference, as I always expect at least major liquidity to get taken out before the next real leg in towards the downside or in towards the upside. Now, going into the dollar, because the dollar itself kind of supports that, let's say, vision in a way, where we now have a relatively strong supply zone, which is your buy up for the strong sell down, which liquidated this black line over here, together with the monthly open now forming resistance. If I look here to the left, we have, again, a lot of ascending lows. And again, this low over here failed to break this high, right? So this for me is also not a strong low to trade off. Again, yeah, also here, equal lows, didn't take out this low, for example. So I'm just not a big fan of longing from this area where we are currently at. For me, supply is currently in control. We liquidated here the high, so I would prefer for us to see one more push back in towards the downside, following the immediate trend. So let's see what happens in that regard. Could be wrong, but for now it does look more bearish than bullish, especially with us simply just taking the liquidity above this high and then straight away just dumping in towards the downside instead of putting in a new higher high, showing that momentum is kind of weak at the moment towards the upside. And again, why that momentum is weak has been explained extensively inside Discord. Mainly has to do with the fact that in December we're expecting some more rate cuts, and also the situation within the Federal Reserve itself. Now, moving on into AUDUSD, we can see that AUDUSD has been pushing up higher and higher. It's currently nearing the monthly open level. For myself, AUDUSD is definitely not one of my favorite pairs to trade at the moment. For me, it is relatively just stuck within this overall range. I'm leaving this one for what it is at the moment. Nothing really too clean for myself. Going into GBPUSD, we can see that GBPUSD has pushed up higher, liquidating the high of the range. So we've now liquidated the high of this overall range again. For myself, I'm still favoring some further upside, though I must say that the pound is weak, so longs on GBPUSD are not the ideal long to take. Yesterday's budget decision was ultimately just bearish for the pound. But what I'm ultimately just waiting for is a little bit higher prices and the dollar to be ready before looking for any shorts at all. For now, the immediate to short-term bias is more long than short on GU, despite it not being, it's just not the top pick to take a long on. I would then say EURUSD looks relatively better, but also not A plus. It's the thing with all of these dollar pairs that they're just not ideal. So then, Fabio, what is ideal in the current market conditions? Well, I don't normally discuss these in the market outlook, but for example, a CAD JPY where we have a much clearer overall uptrend. These are the kind of market conditions that I've been waiting for on the dollar pairs, where we have a clear push up. Within the push up, we identify liquidity. Push up. Within the push up, we identify liquidity. Push up. Within the push up, we identify liquidity. And then again, within the push up, here we identify liquidity. Here we have a demand zone. We've tapped. And now we could, for example, see further upside. These are the kind of positions that you want to be in. Even looking at an NZD-CHF, I have two risk to reward tools here drawn in. But again, ultimately what you're now looking for here from the monthly/free monthly open is for us, for example, to now see an order flow shift happen. And then you could look for some shorts on there. These are pairs at the moment that are trending much more clearer. I would be focusing on other pairs than a GBPUSD or a EURUSD at the moment. Take, for example, a GA, which is now rejecting the free monthly open, others with it, such as an AUDJPY, which has been pushing in towards the highs again, following the overall market structure where we have an impulsive phase here. Now, again, here we have an impulsive phase. And again, what happens? You retrace in towards the downside. Within the impulse, you have low here and you had a low here. Lows get swiped, and now we're just pushing up from the monthly open level again, already up around 122 pips. So these are, again, the much cleaner pairs that you want to be trading, as opposed to a GBPUSD, which is currently just fighting with the overall consolidated price action, and where, if we look to the left, we don't really have any clear liquidity highs. Now we have retraced to the immediate 0.5 fib, which is an interesting level, obviously. So I'm not really going to be looking for longs. I'll be looking for an overall order flow shift. Now, let's say we do want to look for those shorts on GBPUSD, then we would have to wait for this low to break and then a retest of the monthly open, and then we could look for shorts again. Now, moving on into NZD-USD, we can see that NZD-USD in itself has now finally hit the monthly open. To be honest, I wasn't actually a very big fan of NZD-USD longs, but we can see again that the yearly open has done its thing. This now means that we have a clear trend shift, guys. We've gotten the overall, let's say, impulsive downward movements to now be broken, because we've had this impulsive phase here towards the yearly open. I talked about the yearly open for quite some time, but yeah, appears to be enough now to change the overall trend here on NZD-USD. So that now means that we have had a trend shift. And where's now liquidity? Liquidity is situated underneath this low over here. So ultimately, when NZD-USD does retrace, you could look for some new long positions back up higher, we've reached a higher time frame target being that overall yearly open, and it seems that NZD/USD could start to rebound. We start to see some positive news on the New Zealand dollar, mainly referring to the fact that the New Zealand dollar easing cycle, so meaning the, let's say, lowering of interest rates in New Zealand has halted. So therefore, I would be looking for an NZD/USD long position from the overall demand zone that we now have over here. Daily fractal structure has shifted, and now I'm waiting for the 4-hour to retrace towards the overall internal liquidity low, and then from there look for some longs. So this is a potential clean long position. USD CHF stuck in a range, still interested only in pretty much just shorting this from the 75% fib level over here. That not looking for longs for me. This is consolidating, so only interested in shorts. USD JPY. So USD JPY still has some further upside momentum possible, though I'm still waiting for clear liquidation of some deeper lows. So I would prefer for this to head towards the blue dotted lines, and then from there we could look for some longs in the near future, as this still remains very, very bullish. We have had now the overall pullback phase, but when you look at the impulsive phase, you want liquidity to get grabbed. So let's see if that can happen. Overall, again, the market is stalling at the 0.5 fib as always. Moving on into USD CAD. So USD CAD also very interesting because it has liquidated this low here, and we are situated within daily demand. So daily sell before the buy up. So inside this daily demand zone, you can obviously look for longs. So now monitor what happens after we've taken out this internal low. If the new impulsive phase in towards the highs can start. This looks pretty good for a new long position in towards the highs. Once we get some more momentum coming in. And then we have, of course, gold. Now, gold in itself has been consolidating. It's a bank holiday today in the US, so not expecting too much, but ultimately for gold, if we do start to retrace a bit, then we can look for some new longs again in towards the upside. Current low that's protected is this low over here, and if we do liquidate the overall lows, then obviously you can look for kind of like a scale in on the bullish confirmation. Stop loss pretty much here, again targeting a new higher high. So yeah, looking at gold from that perspective for now, looking for new longs. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for joining in. We're going to go live inside Discord, or on YouTube, excuse me, later today. I'll be sharing a link inside Discord. So again, make sure just to be there because that's where everything goes on, and speak soon. Thanks.